The girl is smiling. Next second, he passed away in a very cruel way. Not only him, before the girl committed suicide. An old professor in front of this girl smashed himself with a hammer, but this is not the end, but the beginning of the curse, because before the professor died, someone also died tragically in front of him. This bad luck passed on genetically to the next person. When a woman becomes the next victim, can he escape the doom of death under the fear of the smile curse? Can a woman break the curse and save herself? Today, here's our look at the newest high-energy horror thriller of 2022, Smile. By the way, Sister Jin is a psychotherapist. His daily work, it is for these mentally ill patients. As usual, Sister Kim receives new patient. Laura is a professor at Laura's university. Hit himself with a hammer in his face, left him with great psychological trauma. Laura came to the hospital looking terrified and nervous, guided by patients. Only then did Sister Jin get closer to the other party. At first, Miss Jin asked some common sense questions. Laura answered fluently and said that she is not crazy. Immediately after, he spoke out of his deepest fears. Except for him, everyone can't see, the other person looks like a human, but actually wearing a human skin mask. Sometimes I approach him as an acquaintance. However, in the eyes of Sister Jin, these rhetoric hallucinations caused by anxiety, no one believes in themselves. This made Laura's emotions collapse instantly. Sister Jin tried to calm the other party's emotions. Wait a second, Laura just lost her soul. I was so scared that the whole person changed shape. Seeing that she was going before, Miss Jin hurriedly called the ambulance, but when he turned around again, Laura had a wicked smile on her face. The scary thing is that Laura still uses the glass in the hand slides down from the face to the throat. This scene, it has cast a great shadow over Sister Jin's mind. Smiling death, the picture of such a saint is even more deeply rooted in the bone marrow. Soon the police intervened in the investigation. According to Ginger's judgment, Laura is not crazy, but possibly severe post-traumatic psychosis, and thought there was an evil spirit chasing him. How could the police believe such nonsense, then? Sister Jin revealed a rather abnormal behavior of Laura. That's why he was smiling until he died. After taking the statement, the police can take it lightly, but for Miss Kim, Laura's death left him severely traumatized. After returning home, Sister Jin wanted to anesthetize herself with alcohol to erase Laura's shadow, but as soon as I looked up, Laura's smile appeared on the opposite side, just when Miss Jin was extremely nervous. Sudden appearance of fiancé scared the cup out of his hand. Under questioning, Miss Kim just mentioned a patient died in front of him today. Although the mood is very bad, but tonight I have a date with my sister. My sister chatted happily at the dinner, but Miss Jin is not in the mood at all when his sister invited him to his nephew's birthday party. Sister Jin used weekend work as an excuse, turned down my sister's invitation. When angry, the two sisters had another quarrel over the old house. Sister Jin is feeling uneasy. When I got home, I was also uneasy. On the second day, Sister Jin was still in a state of dissociation. To learn more about Laura, he asked his assistant to find Laura's information. The data shows that when Laura was in class a week ago, Professor Smiling killed himself with a hammer in his face. At this time, my sister suddenly called, but while the two were talking, Sister Jin saw the dead Laura downstairs. Miss Jin is a little flustered, but I try to imply that I was wrong. When passing by the ward, Miss Jin noticed a patient. She is smiling and motionless. Surprised, Miss Jin stepped forward and asked about the situation. As a result, the patient remained motionless as if frozen. When Sister Kim tried to wake her up, crazy hints in a patient's mouth, "You're going to die, you're going to die." This scene made Miss Jin panic. He quickly called the security guards to control the other party. Sister Jin thinks the other party is aggressive, but the supervisor thinks this patient has never not showing signs of aggression. Said it was yesterday. It must have had a big impact on Miss Jin. In order to let Miss Jin calm down, the supervisor gave her a week off. I hope Miss Jin can adjust her state well. Sister Jin was tense when she left the hospital, afraid that passers-by on the side would cast strange smiles. After adjusting in the car for a long time, Sister Jin drove away. Now it's time for vacation. Sister Jin remembered her nephew's birthday. For this reason, she went to the toy store to pick out gifts in advance. After returning home, Miss Jin is going to wrap the gift beautifully, but the fear in her heart made her pick up the wine glass. As a result, just after drinking 2 glasses, the harsh alarm suddenly sounded, afraid someone broke into the house. So Miss Jin hurried to get the scissors on the table to defend herself. Recovered after locking the door. Looks like the windows have been pried open. Just then the phone rang. Kim was taken aback. It was the security company calling. They got a warning to open the door and ask Miss Jin to check the surrounding area again, but he was about to turn around when the phone rang again. Sister Jin found that he had nothing in his hand this time. Could it be that I had hallucinations just now? To ensure safety, Sister Jin called the police to check the house. However, the police found no suspicious signs. The fiancé came home after work. Seeing this scene, he was somewhat worried about Miss Jin. After asking about the situation, Sister Jin said that she can adjust herself. Fiancé gave understanding, saying that Miss Jin found the cat. The weird thing is, Miss Jin hasn't seen this little guy for a whole day. In the middle of the night, Sister Jin was awakened by a nightmare, unable to fall asleep. He listened to the recording of the day. The recording is full of Laura's panic. Especially when it comes to the weird smile. Sister Jin's heart is a little hairy, but a recording caught Sister Jin's attention. There seems to be a third person named Laura besides him. When Miss Jin listened carefully, Miss Jin was almost scared to death. Terrified, she hurried to the kitchen to get the knife. After hearing the screams, the fiancé rushed to check, but seeing Miss Kim with a knife really startled her. No, something is wrong. The next day, Sister Jin went to her former psychiatrist. He confessed his experience to the doctor and Laura's death. It's just lingering in his mind. The doctor thinks the reason for this might still have something to do with his mother's suicide. Maybe Sister Jin is still blaming herself now, but at this moment, Sister Jin doesn't want to talk about her mother's past, and I hope the doctor can prescribe some medicine for myself. Miss Jin knows my situation is post-traumatic stress disorder, but the doctor doesn't think so. He can't see that Miss Kim is schizophrenic. Why do hallucinations or something, most likely due to stress and insomnia? Don't open anything. Just divert attention. Then Sister Jin smiled unnaturally, attended nephew's birthday party. However, Sister Jin's emotions are still tense and anxious. It's time to unwrap presents. The child opened the gift book from Sister Jin. The usual atmosphere suddenly freezes. Didn't realize there was a dead cat in the box. Sister Jin hugs the cat and wants to explain, but the next second he saw a smiling Laura. Kim yells at Laura, but what everyone saw was that he was talking to the air. Laura, who suddenly slapped her face, frightened Sister Jin and fell down. Afterwards, the fiancé took Sister Jin home. Crashed. Kim explains to fiancé, something like an evil spirit is haunting me. These words did not attract the attention of the fiancé. On the contrary, it made him feel that Miss Jin was insane, turned into a madman, and think that Jin Jie inherited her mother's mental illness. No matter how Sister Jin explains it, she is inseparable from monsters and ghosts. This leaves the fiancé completely speechless. To prove what I said is true, Sister Jin checked the professor's information, hoped to find out the relationship with Laura. At this moment, my mother's broken thoughts are dripping rain in my ears. Frightened, Miss Jin hid in bed in panic. The next day, Miss Jin went to the professor's house. His wife recounted how the professor changed during his lifetime. Nervous and paranoid and wake up screaming in the middle of the night, the professor, who suffered from insomnia for a long time, began to talk to himself before death. The professor keeps saying something is trying to get into him. His room is filled with eerie paintings. Mom also mentioned, not long ago, the professor also witnessed a woman commit suicide in front of him. This incident aroused Jin Jie's vigilance, but when it is said that evil spirits exist, the angry aunt directly kicked him out of the house. To find out the identity of the suicide woman, Jin Jie found his ex-boyfriend A Wei. And he's the same cop who investigated Laura's death sentence. Take advantage of your position. Ah Wei quickly found out the identity of the suicide woman. It is worth noting that the death of a woman is also smiling. Sister Jin asked Ah Wei to dig deep into the woman's information. Didn't expect the woman to commit suicide before witnessed a suicide. Sister Jin's guess is not wrong. Bad luck has been inherited. The dead are also smiling. He also said that Miss Jin has, caught in the curse of smiling death, arrived home. The fiancé invited the psychiatrist home. Facing her fiancé's incomprehension, Sister Jin turned her head and walked away. Instead, she told her sister the truth of the matter. I have been targeted by evil spirits, and this death curse, passed on to him genetically, to prove one's point of view. Sister Jin also took out some photos of the deceased, but even so my sister still refuses to believe it. I just feel that my sister is on a nerve, just like their mother. The sisters finally broke up. But Sister Jin got into the car and was about to leave. My sister suddenly walked up to the car. When Ginger was cornered, Ah Wei helped him find a clue. 19 of 20 linked suicides. The only thing not dead is an accountant. Then the problem comes, how did he avoid death? Accompanied by a white, Sister Jin saw Lao Hei, who was suppressed. Then he explained the existence of the curse. Under the guidance of Miss Jin, Blackie told the truth when he realized the existence of the curse. Lao Hei consulted countless information. Only take the initiative to kill a person. Let a third person witness death, curse will jump over yourself. And the reason why Lao Hei went to prison, because he killed his neighbor. Sister Jin doesn't want to become a murderer herself. So I had no choice but to leave the scene, but there is not much time left for Miss Jin, because within a week the curse will be fulfilled, and it's been 5 days, just when Sister Jin was about to commit suicide. The psychiatrist suddenly came home. Sister Jin knew that the other party would not believe what she said, so pretending to be calm, I just want to send the other party away as soon as possible. Just then the phone at home suddenly rang. Miss Jin answered the phone. I didn't expect the psychiatrist to call. Sister Jin panicked. Who is the psychiatrist in front of me? I saw the woman showing a ghostly evil smile, then he covered Miss Jin's mouth. To get rid of my own curse, Sister Jin mustered up the courage to make a decision. She took a sharp knife and walked into Gongji's hospital, then in front of colleagues, stabbed the patient to death. But in the next second, Miss Jin woke up from the car, and that scene just now was just his hallucination. Just when Miss Jin was at a loss, the appearance of a colleague gave him a flash of inspiration. Just want to be alone and come out of his mouth if there is no bearer of the curse. Does it mean the curse will end? In order to break the old Sister Jin thought of her old house, because that's where my mother committed suicide. Come to the old house. Sister Jin left her cell phone and everything in the car. In the end, Miss Jin walked into the hut alone. Childhood experiences come to mind. Buddha's mother dying to commit suicide. Mother begged Kim to call for help. But the cowardly she chose to escape. To make an end with the evil spirit, Sister Jin stayed in the house until the evening. With the crazy oil lamp, Sister Jin suddenly heard a woman crying. When I entered the room, I didn't expect that it was my mother who was crying. Sister Jin couldn't hide her excitement from her mother's appearance. He knew in his heart that the other party was transformed by an evil spirit. Maybe it's to release the inner depression. Sister Jin expressed her guilt towards her mother. But now he doesn't want to live like this with guilt. When Sister Jin let go, the mother turned into a tall and thin giant. While Sister Jin was not paying attention, the evil spirits attacked him from behind. The strong-willed Sister Jin quickly fought back. He lit the other party with an oil lamp. Jilin was instantly engulfed by the fire. After escaping from the cabin, the fire also took away Miss Jin's unbearable past. After everything was over, Sister Jin drove to find a Wei. He showed the vulnerable side of his heart to the other party, and I hope Wei can let me stay overnight. As a result, as soon as the words fell, Wei showed a weird smile. It turns out that Sister Jin has never escaped from the control of the evil spirits, but just as he was about to escape, he turned around and returned to the wooden house. At this time, the real Wei came here. Miss Jin, who couldn't tell, hurriedly hid at home. Then the evil spirit opened his mouth directly into his body. After Wei rushed in. At this time, Jin Jie had been possessed by evil spirits. In front of Wei, he set himself on fire. Pass the curse on. The above is the content of this issue. Thank you all for watching and see you next time.